I'm the Honest Coach. I coach women on connecting with their softness in order to gain control over their life circumstances and relationships with men. I talk a lot to the followers that I have about how they are attracted to men who are unavailable and they push and pull because they have an allergy to closeness. And I try and help them understand where this pattern comes from and create ways in which we can resolve it that work so that we can stop doing what doesn't work. And I've been getting a lot of interaction lately, and recently I got a question that was basically like, how do I my video was saying that when he's pushing you away with criticism or he's pulling away, leave him alone. And then the question was, what if you live together? Or what if you're married? And so I'm gonna approach that in a written way, but I just wanted to come here and rephrase, touch on some things that I've taught over the months of doing this. So your issue is that you split off from yourself and you chase. It comes from childhood and it doesn't work. Instead, we're going to connect to ourselves and we're going to grieve the loss. That puts us in reality. You decide how you want to feel. That's your priority. Anything that doesn't make you feel that way, you leave it alone. You don't get upset. You just have no interest. And that is what will end up happening. The reasons why you're attracted to the guy you're attracted to are solely because of you. They're not even really because of him. You're just seeing qualities that you would like. And so the reasons why you're attracted to him are some of the most important things to hold on to. But we put a line in the sand around conduct and actions and behavior. So you're learning to set boundaries. So how you feel is priority, and then you set boundaries against it. How does this heal? Because when you align with how you want to feel, and you say, you're not making me feel the way I want to feel, so I'm not going to participate with you, now you have to grieve the loss of that. And that is what puts you in reality. This is a grief complex. Your nice girl complex, your good girl complex, your it's okay, I don't need to be any of me, I'll be everything you want, just don't leave me. That whole complex is about not grieving the loss of somebody who's abandoning you. And it's very old. And now you just replay it over and over and over. And that's okay. We're going to work with it, right? This is a no judgment zone. So we say, oh, I like that he's tough. Great. So now you want to ask yourself, I want to feel tough. What are ways that I can feel tough? That's my priority. I want to feel tough. Anything that makes me feel like I'm not going to feel tough, I'm not going to participate with it. Now I got to grieve the loss of it. Tough's not a good word. Let's say desired. And I like to often say, like, you want to look at the men you're involved with as employers and you're working a job, because really that's how you interact with relationships. You are in a state of doing, not being. And a true relationship is about being, not doing. So this is a job, and you've worked this job, the job of relationships, you've worked your entire life. You would think by now you're an expert, but no, because your strategy doesn't work. That's why we're going to find a strategy that works. Then you can choose whether or not you want to be involved with him. It's really a choice. So let's say you have a job and you say, I want to have a job because I want to feel valuable and I want to feel helpful. And so you get this job, and for a while you feel those ways, but then it starts changing and there's politics, and now you feel some other kind of way and you don't like the way you're feeling. You don't feel valuable. You don't feel valued, and you don't feel helpful. You don't feel able to help. And so then what you have to say is, this job is not making me feel the way I wanted to feel, which means I have to go after something that's going to make me feel the way I want to feel, which means you grieve the loss of whatever that job was going to be for you. Have you ever heard people talk about you fell in love with the potential? Yeah, you're going to grieve the loss of that. That is what puts you in reality, because the reality is you have an obligation to choose you. You have an obligation to choose you. You have to live your life. And then you can participate with other people, but you cannot live other people's lives for them. You are not part of a unit. Not in that way. You are an individual. He is an individual. and you come together and you participate together. But you have to be on your sides of the tennis court. And right now you have no boundaries. And it all has to do with the way that you were raised. So, when you decide how you want to feel, which you can look at him and say, what are the qualities I admire about him? Oh man, I like how he's a workaholic. Great, I want to feel like a workaholic. So I'm going to do everything I can do to feel like a workaholic. Anything that doesn't make me feel like I'm going to be able to be a workaholic, I'm going to stay away from. Now I'm going to grieve the loss of all of those things. I want to feel desired. I want a man that's going to make me feel desired. Well, he did that in the beginning, but now he's not doing it anymore. Fine, I'm not going to participate with him. I'm going to go look for men that make me feel desired, and I'm going to align with feeling desired. Now, when he comes back in and he starts making me feel desired, great, I'll participate with you. But I'm not going to participate with you when you're not making me feel the way I want to feel, and I have to grieve the loss of that. You may come back, you may not. I have to own that you're not making me feel desired anymore, and I have to feel all of those feelings that I've been band-aiding over by doing anything to stay with you. Now I have to feel those feelings by saying you're not what I thought you were going to be. I thought I had it figured out. I thought I finally had it figured out, and I don't. And you got to face that, and everything comes up. That's the burst. Those are all the areas in your life you've been abandoned. There's the burst. Okay, feel it. You know what to do now. So you say, well, even though he's pulling away, what was it? Oh, he made me feel desired. Great. I want to feel desired, so I'm going to make that my priority. Anything that doesn't treat me in a way that makes me feel desired, I leave alone. Anything that treats me in a way that makes me feel desired, I take in. You're receiving. I take in, yes, I want to participate with you. You say no, you say yes. You say no, you say, and this is it. The issue is you heal because when something's not making you feel the way you want to feel, you set a boundary against it. And now you grieve. You had no boundaries before because you were scared of grieving. It's a grief complex. So now you say, he's not what I thought he was going to be. I thought he was the one, and he's not. And you feel it. Now, the good news is I can teach you how to make him comfortable, and he can come in with more communication if that's your choice. That's your choice. You love who you love. That's your choice. But he really is a separate person from you, and you're going to learn that. So you start grieving all kinds of things, because you don't just do this with men, you do this with every area of your life. Family, friends, society in general, work, home. You are just constantly people pleasing. You're constantly pushing yourself aside and doing whatever someone else is asking you to do, and you're exhausted, and you're not connected to yourself. Because you're scared to. Because it means that you're going to experience loss and grief. But that's the reality. We don't have control over other people. And you are alone. You don't have to feel alone, but you might be alone. You might have had someone who just cannot be in love. They don't like the way love feels. See, it has nothing to do with you. Once you understand all these aspects of why he does what he does, why you do what you do, it helps you pull back from all of that commotion enough that it just starts processing. Oh, there's a feeling of this. There's a feeling of this. So you stay aligned with how I want to feel, which is probably a quality that he has, and you make that your priority. And then when something doesn't make you feel that way, you stop participating with it. Then you grieve the loss of that. Now you see, oh, I was using that so I wouldn't have to feel this feeling of, who knows? There's all kinds of feelings in your burst. And you can have all kinds of aspects to your burst, layered. So this is a way that you can start getting in touch with that stuff. Anyways, decide how you want to feel. Make that your priority. Anything that doesn't make you feel that way, you say no thank you. Anything that makes you feel that way, you say thank you. And you start doing this. And that will help you start grieving the loss of stuff, getting you in reality where you can start getting control over all these aspects. Really getting control over your life. Oh, blessed be.